welcome back to Rue's Life, and welcome to February's Ponderings from the Polytunnel. And today it's a much more relaxed environment because I've actually spent a few hours tidying up in here and it's really looking better. So the floors have all been swept, I've got rid of a lot of junk, I've tidied all my pots away, I've finally moved some seedlings. So yeah, it's a really nice space to be now. It was getting really cluttered and it was starting to get me down a little, so I've taken some time and I've just taken it steadily, potted about for a few hours, and I've really got on top of the mess that was in this polytunnel and got rid of a lot of junk. So as far as sowing and growing are concerned, I've still got my brassicas here behind me. These are the cauliflower and they're looking really good. I've also got the onion and leek going, and there's other seedlings in the bed, which I have mentioned before, so I'm not going to keep repeating myself, but there's a few bits and bobs coming along here, and there's a few bits and bobs doing well outside as well. And this week we're just coming to the last week of February, and I'm actually going to start my sweet peas, and I'm looking to start my wildflower mix as well. I may hold fire and wait until the first week in March for that, but I'm definitely going to get my sweet peas going in the next couple of days. The weather, as you are all aware, has been horrendous, and it's finally settled down here, and we've actually got blue skies and sunshine today, and it's stayed relatively mild, and it's about 18 degrees here in the polytunnel today, and about 10-11 degrees outside, so it's really lovely, and I've actually got one of the doors open, let a bit of air circulate, and it's just lovely to be in here today. The animals, they're doing okay. The horses are absolutely fine. The sheep are grand, they are now down in their winter pasture. The chickens are still under lockdown, and sadly we lost one of our ex-bats yesterday. She'd been a little bit out of sorts just for a few days. She'd been hunkering down and doing that classic I'm not feeling very well sort of chicken hunker, so we've been spending time with her, making sure she was eating and drinking. We tend to use scrambled eggs for our sick chickens. I know a lot of people find it controversial feeding eggs to your chickens, but it's something that somebody mentioned to me a number of years ago, and I found it really, really beneficial. And chickens will actually eat their own eggs as well, so there's no harm in doing that, and we find it really successful for poorly hens. So she was eating, she was drinking, and she had been, dadding about with the flock and picking at food with them as well, but just the last 24 hours she sat and didn't look so great, and just at the point we were thinking we're going to have to perhaps think about taking her to the vet here, and she just went to sleep overnight and she didn't wake up, but she was an old girl. It's always sad to lose one of them, especially the ex-bats, but she had a cracking life with us. So we're down to eight chickens at the moment, but with the chicken lockdown, we're certainly not thinking about increasing our flock at the moment, because obviously there is the risk of avian flu. We don't want to be introducing any new livestock at the moment, or any new birds, and also just space, because they are locked down. We don't want to be adding more into the mix, even if it was feasible to do so, but if it was feasible to do so, they wouldn't be in a smaller space, so it kind of cancels itself out. But yeah, we'll sit tight, and I will probably consider rescuing some more ex-bats a bit further down the line. I'm actually off work at the moment. I've been a little bit poorly. I'm still absolutely loving the job, it's brilliant, but there's been something that's happened that I can't discuss, but it's had a bit of an effect on my chronic health that I've really had under control, and a few things have just flared up a little bit, and my doctor he's been absolutely amazing, but it's been agreed that I just need a little bit of time away. And I haven't really been doing very much, a combination of really not feeling very well at all, and also just the weather. So the last couple of days I've just managed to do a tiny little bit, and today's the most I've done, and I'm feeling so much better for it. And I'm always grateful. If ever I'm under the weather, unwell, or things aren't easy in life, which often they aren't, I'm always so grateful to be here on the farm because of all the places to be to cope with anything. Living here does make it much more bearable and easier to do. So I know how lucky I am to be living here. We have also had a family bereavement, and I don't want to talk about that too much, but it has had a massive effect. Somebody very close to us, and yeah, I'm not going to say any more than that, but other than it has had a massive impact on us. So apologies, I have already missed a video out, and there's a possibility that I may not be filming as much just over the next couple of weeks. So obviously, you know, without being harsh, our lives do go on, and it's really important to go on and to push on and to keep doing the things that we enjoy. And one of the things that I do enjoy is making my YouTube videos, and sharing what is going on in Rue's life with you. And I really love the interaction that I get from you all. And I didn't want February to slide by without my monthly ponderings. So here I am. So let's talk about things that I've been watching and reading and so on. So we've actually we binge watched and really enjoyed the Netflix series about Anna Delvey, and I can highly recommend it. For those of you that may not have heard of it or watched it, I do remember this hitting the headlines, and I remember listening to it on the radio and being quite drawn to it and quite interested. So without spoiling it, because you may not have heard and you might want to watch it, but it was out there in the news. It's based on a true story about a girl called Anna. She was in her early 20s, and she managed to fake being a German heiress and made so much money in America. It was quite something. She really was, you know, quite the it girl, and went to all the big parties, and she was hanging out with all the stars, but she didn't have a penny to her name. And it's quite controversial, but it's also quite mixed emotions watching it, because whilst essentially she was stealing from people, she was also incredibly clever, and she had a dream, and I don't think she ever stopped to realise how wrong what she was doing, and she was doing it for the best of intentions. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you watch the series, you'll get where I'm coming from. And I really enjoyed it. Chris enjoyed it too. So that's been quite a good distraction. As far as reading is concerned, I'm still actually reading the same book that I'd mentioned in last month's Ponderings. It's been a bit of a funny old month, and I haven't had as much reading time as I normally would. So I'm still actually reading The Good Liar by Nicholas Searle, and it's not because I'm not enjoying it that I'm not getting through. It's just because I haven't had, as I say, as much reading time. But I'm absolutely loving it, and I've really picked the pace up this week, and I'm probably going to get my head in that again this afternoon. Sometimes, you know, I don't know about any of you guys, but when you're feeling really poorly, I really struggle to read, and I've struggled to concentrate on anything, if I'm honest. So the easiest thing has been to either listen to things, listen to podcasts, or to watch things, and I've been struggling a wee bit to read, but I've picked that back up and I'm getting back into it. And I've also discovered that it was actually made into a film in 2019. Now, I didn't know that, and it stars Ciarán McKellen and Helen Mirren, and the book is absolutely fantastic. So with a cast like that, when I finish the book, I'm going to see if I can find the film to watch as well. And then I'll let you know how I got on with it. Or if any of you have already watched it, or you watch it after listening to this or seeing this, Let me know in the comments below, was it any good? But no spoilers, please, because I haven't finished the book yet. But for me, that's perfect because I always like to read a book. If there is a film out there, I like to read the book first. I think I've mentioned that before, because, of course, once you've watched the film, those characters are then in your brain and you can't change them. Whereas when you read a book, if a book is written well, those characters will be there. And when you watch the film, of course, the book hasn't been spoiled. That's the way I see it. Just to go back to the gardening, the spring bulbs are coming up underneath the oak tree. We've got snowdrops everywhere. I don't know about you guys, but here in the UK, our snowdrops are, I would say, the best they've ever been. They're absolutely fantastic. They are everywhere and they are beautiful. And then a few of the spring bulbs have started to come up now. So we've got a few little crocuses, and I think there's some bigger leaves. We can't decide if they're hyacinths or tulips, so it's quite exciting watching all those come up. So some of them were planted a little late, so they probably won't do so well this year. The ones we put in last year, they're coming up and they're looking as if they're going to be a lovely display. But the ones we put in a little bit late will probably do better next year. And then just generally things that I'm looking forward to now that, you know, today's a little bit of a warmer day, and, you know, the last few days it's been throwing it down with rain, blowing a hoolie. But it's that time of year when you start to think about the year ahead and the things we're looking forward to. And I'm very much looking forward to getting out and doing lots of walking, getting out with the dogs. I really want to get back into my wild swimming. And it has been something that I've really enjoyed, but I've only been doing in the warmer months. So I want to get brave enough. I have swum in March, and I have swum in the sea as late as November and as early as February now, but not for some time. So what I want to do is build myself up. I've got all the gear. I've got some like wetsuit trousers and rash vests and so on, and the right shoes, gloves, bobble hat, the works. So what I want to be able to do is start swimming again late spring, but keep going this time, and try and swim through the winter months as well, because I think that would be really, really good for me. And then it's just a case of making sure I'm hoping to get fit enough to return back to work. And then it's just keeping that balance, isn't it, between work and home life and fitting in all the things that I enjoy. So as I say, time with the animals here, riding. I still haven't found a dressage competition, but I am going to do it. I know what I'm like. There'll be a day and I'm going to say, I'm doing this, and I will find a competition and I'll enter it. I'll kick myself up the backside, and it'll be really nice to get out and do it. It's just those kind of jangly nerves a bit at the moment, I think, that are sort of stopping me from doing it, as I think I mentioned last time. But looking forward to getting back out and doing that again, getting out with the dogs, finding different places, you know, exploring. I'd very much like to get back out into Snowdonia. Chris and I would like to do a bit more walking in Snowdonia, which is something I used to do a lot, and just haven't had the time to fit that in, because obviously we've got a bit of a, it is kind of on our doorstep, but you know, we have got a couple of hours drive to get there. And just generally enjoying the things that make me happy: gardening and growing, baking, reading, watching things, walking, yoga, my mindfulness, all the things that make me happy. It's just getting that balance back again. Because I kind of tipped it a bit the wrong way these last few weeks. There's been quite a lot thrown at us, some stuff that I won't discuss, but yeah, there's been a bit of a lot going on. So it's spring just around the corner, and positivity, isn't it? We've got to look ahead and start planning. So I really hope that you're all well, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments below what you've been up to. Are you sewing? Are you growing? Have you been out and about? Have you been to the theatre? We haven't actually been to the theatre for some time now. What are you reading? What have you been watching? Have you been on a walk somewhere that you've really enjoyed, or discovered a building or a castle or a property that you hadn't been to before? Drop me your comments below. I'd love to hear from you as to what you've been up to. But for now, I'm going to drink my coffee, have a little chill, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Take care. Thank you for watching.